Here's a question I wanted to ask. Do you want to become like Christ? This is not just the same as saying, do you want to become a Christian? Because honestly, nowadays, a Christian is a Christ follower, as in like a Christ worshiper, as in if it was the terms of football, I'm asking you, do you want to become a football player? Not do you want to become a fan of football? The actual person who's playing on the field, not the one who's sitting on the sides and chanting and praying to the football player, supporting him to make that goal, but be the one playing with the football. Do you want to be like Christ? Do you want to be close to God? You see, I'm of firm belief that Christianity is not a set of rules to follow, but rather a map, a pathway for you to achieve a certain enlightenment so that you can connect to God, so that you can go through a path at which you will leave your old self behind, and the old self will be this football fan, and you will become the football player. And by the time that you become a football player, that's when your eyes are open and you see. See, currently we are blind and we follow because, and we chant and we try to do rituals and we read books because we need to figure out how to be this good version of a Christian. Whereas when you are the football player, when you've read the book, when you've done the the path and you've arrived at the end point, you no longer I, but Christ lives through me. Do you want to be that? Do you want to be like Christ? And the best way I can describe it is, so you would have to go through this path and you would have to leave your ego behind. That is a necessary process. You would have to have somewhat of an ego death where you're, in a way you can say personality, but it's not exactly that. Your personality remains, but the things that you desire, because the ego is very selfish, right? So everything that you want is your ego. So all the things that you desire, can you leave those behind? Because if you leave the things that you desire, then you leave behind the ego. If the ego is left with nothing to desire, that is the point, the gate through which you can walk through. As you walk through the gate of desirelessness, as you walk through that gate, you become a different person. There is something else on the other side of it. There is a dividing point, the before and after, the eye of the needle, right? And you must walk through that eye of the needle. And the eye of the needle means that nothing else but your essence can pass. And everything that you are has to be stripped away. Right? So only a thread can pass through. And the ego is a sweater. It has, it's just like lots of things that it has acquired during its lifetime, right? Lots of threads, lots of weavings, and everything. And what does that mean? Like your things in life, the things like Fight Club, things that you own end up owning you. Yeah, okay, so you have lots and lots of things that you own, right? So okay, if you want to go through that eye of the needle, you give up all those things, right? And what Revolver's talking about, when you give up the things, you're hurting the ego, right? So you're purposefully going into the pain of giving up. So whatever you have pain of losing, that means you have pain of attachment. And if you have pain of attachment, that means there's two of you. Now we're talking about the Tao. The things that can be spoken are not the true and eternal Tao. Because if they can be spoken of, that means they're separate. And if they can't be spoken of, that means you're in the present, you're in the moment of the now, you're in the thread. You are just yourself. And there's nothing else other than you. And the moment that you can speak of something, that means it's outside of you. That means it's not part of you. And so all of these threads that you have, the ego, okay, so you have to leave them all behind. That's what you do. You leave everything behind. You let them go one at a time. All of these connections that you have to things. And you break free. You, as Christ said, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So now you're here without anything, and you're like, okay, let me pass. You've made that choice. You've given up everything. You got off your camel, so to speak. You took all the things that you had, metaphorically speaking. You're arriving to the city, and the city has no gates. It has the eye of the needle, and the eye of the needle is like a little path. So there's this huge wall, and there's only one path, and it's exactly the size of your body. So as you walk through it, there's nothing you can take with you. And you're like, oh crap! I arrived at this path with my caravan, with my 50 camels, my 24 virgins, my PlayStation 4 or whatever, my whole family, because you realize that soon after you leave all the things behind, all your physical material possessions, and you start walking inside of that eye of the needle, you realize that, holy crap, it really meant nothing. And I'm attached to my cat. There's a relationship I have to it. I love this cat, or so I think. Because you are love, you are everything. So there's a selfish love that is happening. I want to love this cat. I have this cat and it is mine. I love it. You're like, oh, does that mean that I'm projecting a certain love and that love is making me feel something because I am the one creating it? So you're trying to say that this is selfishness? And that I must somehow transcend it? Now, here's another interesting thing, or very important. When I say leave everything behind, I don't mean aggressively rip it off. So, for the metaphor to make sense, you would need to actually sell everything that you have, right? But you don't need to do that. I mean, it'll help for you to realize that it no longer is yours, right? So you'd actually physically have nothing and become like a poor man, and that will do the same thing, but you just need to have no attachment to those things. Because if they're not yours, but you are in them, right? So you don't need to physically be naked in order to not be attached to your clothes. I hope that makes sense, because it's very important, because you can go overly extreme and become religious about it and start actually selling everything that you have and so on. But it's a process of internalization. You are doing this inside. There's a computer in front of you. And if you think that computer is yours, then you have a problem. But if there's just a computer in front of you, then there's no problem because it's not yours. You've achieved what you wanted to set out to do. Because if you sell it, you throw it away, you burn it, it's no longer yours. Or if it's in front of you, but it's not yours, it's the same thing. Likewise with an attachment with the cat. I'm not saying that you should throw the cat away. You know, it will do the same thing, but really what you would do, for example, if you throw the cat away, the next stage will come and you'll have grief. Oh, what I would do without my cat, I loved it so much. And that is still the exact same process of, oh, I love it so much. I love, I grief. Those are attachments to emotion. Right? So the way that you do it is you let go. And you let go. And you let go. You empty yourself from wanting to possess. And soon enough you're going to realize that there is an ego inside of you that is holding on to everything in life. To you, your things that you own, your relationships that you have. And right now it's probably tackling this conversation that I'm having with you, trying to say, oh, so you want me to give up everything? That voice is also the ego. Oh, but that means, oh, this is stupid information, or like, the opposite, yeah, so I'm going to give up everything, I'm going to end up in the streets. There's going to be a voice inside of you that's going to challenge everything that I say right now, because that is the ego. And that is what we're confronting ourselves with. And we must confront ourselves with that in order to go through that eye of the needle. And so, hello. Hi there. There's a great scene in Revolver, and that's the reason why I like that so much, is because when Sam, or whatever his name is, the protagonist, Jake Green, was confronted with his internal ego, which is Sam Gold, they visualize it as this internal struggle. He finally saw that inside of him there's another voice, and that voice started talking to him directly. Oh, so you see me now. Right, so you're trying to go through the eye of the needle. You're walking through it now. You just left all the camels behind. Now you're leaving all your relationships behind, attachments to everything. You're trying to walk through it, and their voice, you're getting stuck inside of that wall, and the voice is speaking. It wants you not to go to the other side. It is you. You. I. This is when Christ went into the desert. This is the metaphor, and this is what it means. So he went into the desert, and he had no food, no one to talk to, nothing. Isn't this the definition of giving up everything? Sure. So he went to die, pretty much. He went to completely and totally let go of everything that he has, to walk through this eye of the needle. And what does he see once he loses everything piece by piece? The devil. At the very end, he meets Satan himself. I've went through this journey, and I can describe it in a different way. As you leave things behind, at first it's painful. The ego doesn't want to let go. It tries to convince you that you are your things, you are this, you are that. And you let go. You look at a label on your jacket and it says Gucci, and you're like, I'm not defined by Gucci, and you rip it off, or you give your jacket away. Surely enough, you'll find a different jacket, or you can just rip the label off. As long as you realize that you are not your jacket, you're fine. Continue going, I'm defined by this location. I'm not. I can be anywhere I need to be because I am the all. Have relationships, and that is great, but I'm not defined by my relationships, and you continue going, you continue going, you continue going. And at a certain point, the ego stops trying to resist, and it retreats. It disappears, and it starts just observing, because it can't handle the pain of letting go of things. But it's not quite done. At the end of the emptiness, there's nothing left, but there is a rock in front of you, and you can only see one side of the rock. You come with light, you're shining at the rock, and the rock is creating a shadow. And as you walk around the rock, the shadow just moves. And the ego is hiding in that shadow. You can't see it because you are the light creating the shadow. I had this experience in Gavdas. It was full moon, so bright that the moon cast a shadow. And in this field, there was a boulder, a big rock. And this rock was casting a shadow. And I was being tested by I don't know who. Sam Gold, the ego, the infinite slicer, trickster. He said to me, I was recording, he said to me, stop your recording. Take everything off. I'll challenge you to this moment. So I did. I left the phone off because I was going through my inner journey, kind of like I'm going through now. I took off my clothes, and I was given a feeling of achievement, like I am at one with the universe, like I'm enlightened, and light has been shining on me. I'm at one with the universe, finally. And then it says, look, do you see the shadow? Do you see the shadow that the light casts? You have an option. You can remain in your feeling of being one with the universe, you being happy, so to speak, you being satisfied by achieving this, by getting this far, and live in your light for the rest of your life. Or if you truly claim that you are everything, come into the shadow and let me whisper to you the true and ultimate secret. Because if you are everything, then you already know this secret, and it won't harm you. But if you're not, and the secret is greater than what you are, then you will lose this state of being and become the darkness. Are you ready to take this gamble? Are you ready to define what you are? This is a very, very interesting question. If you were to ignore this If you were to say, no, look, I am everything, right? And I know that I am everything because I feel it, I know it, as just I'm connected to the universe. I am light, and that's what I am. Then if you're everything, then surely the darkness can't harm you. But yet again, the darkness wants to speak to you. And if it wants to speak to you, that means you are not everything. And so you'll forever live knowing that you are in an illusion, that you thinking that you are everything is actually not, because if the shadow can speak, then that means there's more. And if there's more, that means you never were everything. But the shadow might pull you in and you'll lose your everything. Conundrum. Very, very, very profound question. And this is what Jesus was going through when he was in the mountains, in the desert. He has uncovered the final part of himself, the trickster of tricksters, the one who lives inside, the one that cannot be escaped. Throw yourself off if you are the Son of God, and angels will carry you. You say you are everything. You say you are light. You say you are enlightened, all that. So go on. Eat. Turn these rocks into food. You want to eat, don't you? And he's like, no, I don't want to eat. It's not what I want. If I throw myself off, it's something I am trying to do. And you're trying to make me do what I want to do. You're trying to go back through all of these tricks. You're trying to connect me back to the ego, to you, Mr. Devil, Mr. Ego, Mr. Sam Gold, Mr. Ambiguous. You're trying to do everything possible. Kneel down in front of me and worship me, and I will give you everything. As long as I'm in charge, all that I have will be given unto you. Nah. And that's how you go through the eye of the needle. You walk through this noise, through this voice, through this static of your own existence. The ego is left behind. The devil is no longer a part of you. And on the other side, that's how you enter the kingdom of heaven. You finally go through the eye of the needle by leaving behind even yourself. You see, as you walk through the eye of the needle, the road becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you yourself can't walk through. Your body, your ego, and the devil, which you carry along with you. But there's something that can pass through. And so you make this hard decision to say, you know what, I'm leaving behind this earthly body with all of its desires and its mind that it wants this and that and that. And I'm sorry, but like, I need to go to the other side. I need to enter the kingdom of heaven. And so you leave this shell of an existence as you push yourself further and a light, a beam, a consciousness, a soul, something that is the true essence of you, gets pulled out through you, out into this existence, and it feels like a death, but you're willing to take it. You're kneeling in front of a greater idea, because you know that essence that is coming out of you is the true you, and whatever it is that is stopping it, that whatever it is that wants it to stay, is the imposter. The mind that wants to hold on, all the calculations that it does, it's just a computer. And you are the true user of that computer, and you need to let go. The computer needs to understand that it's just a machine, not the one controlling it. This is the reason why we say that, our society today is blinded, because all we do is we stay on computers and TikToks and Instagrams and all of that. We get attached to this material world. We get attached to our thoughts, and we get stuck inside of this. We are computers walking around. And we need to free ourselves from all of that. We need to go through that eye of the needle, push ourselves to the very edge, and whoop, squeeze through until you and when you go through the very end, where you are just a thread, the point of which is just the singlest of singles, like you've narrowed yourself down to just one thread, and as you're pushing through the eye of the needle, you realize that you're multiple threads, and you start to de-thread until you're one thread, until that thread becomes even smaller and smaller, until you're like this atom, until you are just this one beam of light. And once you go through your most purest essence, you have no words to describe what you describe, because even the words have left you. The words are on the other side of the wall. You have went through the wall, and so you can't speak of the wall because you are on the other side. You see life, you see light, you see all of these things, but you don't have eyes, you don't have ears, you don't have a physical body, you don't have connections to the things that you want, and so therefore none of these things exist, because you are light, and light is you, and that means you're everything that ever existed. But you can't speak of it. You can't claim it. You can't live the old way that you did. You can't say, this is my computer. You can't walk around telling people, hey, listen, I've got this light, because I have got, and light is 3 separate things. I, light, and got. Ugh. And you're none of those 3 big, clunky, outdated ideas of how reality should work. You just are. I just am. This is the I am, the I am. All is all. Everything is everything. Your eyes are open and you can see. And sure, as you see, you are inside of a body, but that body doesn't belong to you. You are the body and all of it that it composes. You are the everything that is everything. All is you, and nothing belongs to you, because it cannot possibly belong. Because that means it's separate, but you are not separate. You are all. You cannot have something, because to have something, that means you must lack something. And if you lack something, that means it's not you. Everything belongs to you, but nothing belongs to you because there is no you. You are the all. You are connected with everything, and everything is connected with you. You see everything as one huge essence of you, no longer separate. You are now connected with the true and higher self. The true you. And sure, it feels like, oh, but I have left behind my desires, the thing that I want and all of that. And there's always a temptation to go back to the way it used to be. Because there's these extremes that we feel as humans. We can feel like if you do something bad, right, then that means we have option to do something good, and we can feel good about it, then we can feel bad about it, and you know, and you can live that way if you want to. A way of insanity. Because when you are the all, you are satisfied in a way that cannot be put into words, because even the word satisfaction has this I and am and satisfied, and so therefore it is wrong, but it's the best way I can describe it. You just it would be the best possible, most content, overjoyous with, oh yeah, I'm so happy, because this is a lie that we're often fed, that you have to be this extreme happy version of yourself in order to be if you're super happy, that means you made it in life, and if you're super sad, that means you that's the wrong thing, and then if you're happy, that's the right thing. But happiness is just one spectrum of emotion, and so is sadness. When you are who you are above all content, and this contentment is far greater than what this happiness could be. This enlightenment and being connected, of knowing your place, radiating light because you are light itself. You wouldn't want to go back. You will have achieved everything that you have been meant to achieve. And so I have to go back to the other side of the wall and ask you, do you want to be like Christ? Or do you want to follow religion? Because that's the big trick that religion plays on you, is that, it gives you a set of rules, do 7 Hail Marys, pray every night, ask for forgiveness, pray to God to reveal a path to you, and all of that, and yada yada yada. As long as you're on the other side, you're good. It will give you a system that you can follow, and you can remain on that side. Like, it's the best version of your ego that can be, right? But don't cross over to the other side. That's not for you. You can't enter the Holy of Holies. Only Christ can enter that. So yeah, that's the big question. Do you want to take the path less traveled and journey to the other side?